Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Corey Salty True Floyd with Amerime Media. I'm here with Demon Engine, and I'm here with special guest artist Trey Braswell.
How's it going?
We're going to be talking to him today about his work, what inspired him, and plus more. It's the Amerime Junkies podcast. And we're back. Uh, we're here today with Trey Braswell. I've seen him so many times on Instagram, but I was just like, yo, I gotta bring this guy on. I like his art, so I reached out. He reached back, and we made this happen. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. Can't complain. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, the latest piece I've seen that's been rotating, you took Boondocks the characters from the Boondocks
Yeah.
and put them in Naruto gear. And 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 I'm just like, well, we didn't get the Boondocks reboot that we deserved, but
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
so are big fan of the Boondocks, I assume.
Yes, sir. Through and through.
All right, but first let's get to your background. Where when did you start? When did you start making art? Like when did you like would start as a child, as a little kid, or did it just
Yeah, so from what my parents told me, I started drawing around like 4 or 5 years old. And it was a natural gift or talent that I inherited from my granddad. So at that age I was drawing like Scooby Doo, Barney, and at the time DBZ, Dragon Ball Z was a popular show. And at the time, I didn't know it was an anime until like I grew up later on, and so that show kind of like gatewayed my way into like watching Yu-Gi-Oh, Naruto, all the fan favorite anime shows that we have today. And so me being uh artistic from an early age really was like therapy for me as a child because I was like kind of bullied a lot, and I learned how to control my emotions through my imagination. So like my creativity came out through my emotions, then through my artwork. And so it was therapy for me. It was like a way to escape from the real world, to escape my problems from classes or just grades. And it just grew into this bigger picture. And then once I found I could make money from doing art and what I love, it just
hey?
it continued to grow, man. And it just once I got to that point, I never looked back.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. So, did you go attend art school?
I did. So I did undergrad at Mississippi State University for fine arts, and then I did grad school in New York at Syracuse for illustration for about 3 years. So I just left Syracuse last year. Actually, graduated from there. So I got my master's degree.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. So I'm a professional illustrator now. I have my degrees in what I'd love to do, and so yeah, man, price went up.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
So what cartoons help shape the way you view things?
Far as like personal life or just like as like through my artwork.
Hey, how about a little bit of both?
Okay. So growing up I was real big on like the OG Cartoon Network shows. So like Teen Titans, um, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Naruto, Toonami, all them great shows. I just like grew up trying to copy the artist's work, trying to be like them. But I had a hard time drawing faces for the longest. I couldn't get a face
Mm,
down to where I liked it for years on top of years. So me being like a perfectionist, if I couldn't get the face right, then the whole drawing to me was trash. So I actually stopped doing art for about a good year or two because I just got so frustrated with me not being able to draw a good face. And so after that year or two happened, my grandmother actually pushed me back into the art world. And so I had to like just stay determined, stay focused. I'm just so like hard on myself because the people I was inspired by, I thought I would never get to their level because I think, rushing my growth too fast. And
Mm.
so, for personal shows that helped me out, um, my grandmother that's got me back to the art world, she gave me an early comic when I was like 6 or 7 years old of SpiderMan. And
Mm.
reading that comic, him be my favorite Marvel character. I related so much to him because I was kind of a nerd growing up. I was a very skinny guy. I was the guy with glasses, braces, afro. So I was like modern day Urkel in a sense. So Peter Parker being the exact almost opposite, he got bullied by like, Flash Thompson and other guys on the football team. And me, I played ball for a few years growing up, and it was very relatable to me. So I think him seeing a hero that I could fit in with just kind of like made me realize, okay, maybe that we all have our struggles, we all have our like differences, but we still have some similarity because we're all human beings at the end of the day. And so for me, growing up, I wanted to always have like my own universe of like black characters, black superheroes, and black comics. And so if anyone sees my page, then they'll see a full on like scrolls of like black art of different characters,
Mm-hmm.
different universes that I've created, just from like either fan work or like I've done work for like the Egyptian gods, the African Orishas, and the Yoruba culture, and just trying to, I guess, put light on African and black culture that we haven't had in the past decades. So
Okay. You were talking about the cartoons that molded you.
yeah. So I think I ended with was
You were
it
saying
Spider Man?
you were talking about Spider Man,
Yup.
and your
It's
grandmother gave you that comic book.
yup. And so with that comic book she gave me at an early age, it helped me get through like hard times in my life because I was just so different from everyone else because I was a military brat growing up, and then my dad being in the army, we moved every 3 years, and so
Mm.
with that happening, it made me very antisocial because as a kid, you move in every 3 years, you want to keep making friends and having to leave, and so it made me distant, and it really made me like just standoffish from like everyone else. And so me being that type of person growing up, art was really good for me because I stayed in my room in the house because I didn't really have many friends growing up because I was in from first to 12th grade, I was in like 6 or 7 different schools. So
Yeesh.
yeah, so I didn't want to keep building bonds and then having to leave and then like miss those people down the road. So I had, I guess, closure with the things that I did in my artwork and the comics and the cartoons I watched and read. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So which which piece of yours is your favorite?
That's okay. That's a hard question, man, because each piece has a different meaning to me. But I will say it's a piece I did for my graduate thesis when I was in grad school. I did a piece of the Orisha Yamoja or Yamaya,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like the Orisha of the water of the sea. And that piece meant a lot to me because it's very similar to what I saw myself as a kid growing up admiring.
Okay.
Because I spent like I want to say close to like 40 plus hours on that one specific piece, and it's a bunch of details, a bunch of like sleepless nights trying to make it perfect and like capture the what I guess my interpretation of the Orisha of the sea, and the sea coming to life in the process I did. It made the younger version of myself proud because I saw the growth. Because as a kid, I thought I would never get to where I am now with my artwork. So that was like a stepping stone for me and like a curve to get over that hump where I was just so stuck in my growth. And she's probably my favorite one, but I think all of my Orishas I did are like in that same boat of my favorites because they were just like really personal to me and like promoting African culture and the Yoruba culture. So it's just all were my favorites. So I'll say all the Orishas I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, fan work wise, my favorite is definitely the Boondocks and the
Well, I mean, you really do go in
man.
because
Look, this
because
how it
you. I
go ahead.
mean, at first I thought there were just going to be like individual pieces, but no, you have the whole group lineup.
Man,
And
look,
and
is that
Demon, I just sent it to you, so you can
man,
see it.
look. This is how it happened, man. So like, I was hyped for the Boondocks to come back, right? And then we had the passing away of John Witherspoon, and then Miss Regina King had her son passing. So like, we not gonna get that show back, unfortunately. So I started this series as like as a one time piece. I did like a fan art of like Team 8 and
Right.
Naruto. That would be just a single piece alone. But then it got so much traction on Instagram. I was like shook. It had got like almost 15K likes in like I think a couple of months. And I was just like, whoa, people really like enjoying this series. So like let me push it a little further. Like do so like, keep continuing. And so I made like all the different teams in the show from what I thought would fit each character. And then
What?
after doing that, I was like, okay, how can I add to it? And then the Akatsuki came up, and
Oh my
I
goodness.
I just kept on like continuing and continuing, and it turned to a 2 year long project, man. And that whole lineup you see, I just recently posted, that was like close to 200 hours of drawing every single character, and then trying to figure out who fit with which character. Because like
I
I
believe.
had,
I believe
I,
it. I believe it 8,000%. What cracked me up though, I think was the little girl that R. Kelly pees on. Because you can clearly see the peas on the outfit, and I'm like, my God.
Why'd you have?
man,
I feel
man,
bad for Tintin.
look, yeah, okay, that was the
10.
I got some backlash for that, surprisingly, because I was making a joke of Tencent because like he don't get a lot of like screen time,
She
and
really
so
don't.
like her and the R. Kelly girl are both similar in that aspect. So like I did that. So like, and then with Tencent and the R. Kelly girl, I hit her face like the same way they did on the show, and I was like, how can I make people recognize this girl
Yeah,
without okay
you,
forward?
you got to add the P.
And I was like, the peace thing is like instantly clicking in people's head.
The
And they're
P
like,
stain, and then the shit with the eyes.
yeah, man. And so
Quick, quick.
I
Hold on.
think I think out of the whole lineup, people liked her the most and Ruckus as a second Hokage. They like those two
Yes.
the most.
Yes.
So I enjoyed it, man. I tend to like
Um,
do like what I have in mind for the future is having like making different artwork of them like fighting in different scenes. So like having like different like illustrations of like different fights from the show, from the anime, and like just having them like fighting off from like different
The,
scenes.
the only thing you was missing was Stink Meaner and the Hateocracy.
No, I didn't see me as in there. He's Madara.
Singing is in there.
I mean, the rest
You
of the
know, he Madara.
Hateocracy.
You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need.
yeah.
Look, you
I,
don't.
I
Stink
had
meter
Paul.
is already Madara. Madara is a squad by himself.
He is, and I had them in mind. I had I forgot the woman's name from that group. I had her playing Kaguya.
Esmeralda Gripe Nasty.
I had her playing like Kaguya, and I had the other two guys playing like Donzo, and then some other guy. But I changed him to Eat Dirt from the show.
Yo.
So like I think if I had included like Shippuden in that lineup, I would have put them in there. But it was only part one from the anime show because I didn't have Gara in there. I didn't have people from like the Sand Village in there because I was like later on. But I ran out of like kids from the show to like continue like going outside the League Village, because I couldn't add people I didn't have room for. So like I wanted to add Gara and like his brother and sister, but there aren't enough Boondocks kids to go outside the League Village. So I just ran out of people. So it's just I had to plan very well, but I had a kick out of it, man. It was a lot of time consuming like effort, but people enjoyed it, man. They loved it, and I think that's why I like to do art so much, man. Because like seeing all the different reactions, good and bad, and like seeing people enjoy what you do creating is a different feeling, man. Because I think what set in stone for me, I had did a painting for a woman like years back of her as a younger girl, and she was like
Mm.
on deathbed, like on her last couple of months, I think. And I gave it to her, and she just like busted into tears, man. And she was just like,
Mm.
just very emotional. And that for me was like overwhelming because I didn't think that I could like create something that could make someone that emotional and just like break down in tears. So like that's why like I love what I do, man. Because like the money is not the first for me. It's an afterthought. I just do it because like I've been drawing before I even made money. I've been drawing
Mm.
10 years prior to like making my first, you know, uh, purchase or sale on a piece of work. So it was a love, a hobby before I got it into a career. So yeah, man, it's a it's an enjoyable thing I do for sure.
Okay. Uh,
What?
we're gonna roll,
I
huh?
want a side note and just say, because it reminded me of TikTok I was watching earlier, that you,
Hmm.
since the fact that you have Ruckus as Hashirama instinct meter is moderate, I can definitely now see him, instead of him calling them Uchihas, he's gonna call them Uchiggers. I can
Yep.
see that.
Down, she has over there.
God damn, Uchiggers is fucking up the Leaf Village again.
I should have
That's
purged.
guilty, guilty. But yeah,
Dang.
man, he's my favorite, man. He's the comedic factor in that show, man. Like if Ruckus was not in the Boondocks, it wouldn't be as funny. He's a trip like all
What?
around.
Well, you have to have Uncle Ruckus there
Hmm.
for one very solid reason, which I'm gonna tell you as soon as we get back from these quick commercial break.
Okay,
Demon.
sounds good.
Not that one, because it doesn't cover shit. We're gonna just
All right, and we're back with Trey talking about his art, and we're talking about the Boondocks. Now, Uncle Ruckus is a very integral part because if you notice with each character, they're a representation of a certain aspect of the African American diaspora.
Yep.
And sadly, Ruckus represents a lot of people with that mentality.
Yeah, unfortunately, man. And I think uh Magruder, when he created the show, he was very smart in how he like wrote each character because like it was a way for him to like express his thoughts through his version of Huey because
Mm,
Huey was his brain in the show where he thought about society, politics, BET, a whole bunch of different black categories that we like people I guess glorify in our community, and it's it's hard to come by now in our society, not because we're such a soft society. You can't really say much or you'll get canceled. So it's like back then, where it's like less social media influence. He was ahead of his time because he knew, like he predicted a lot of stuff in that show. Like it was crazy. It was like the black version of The Simpsons in a way.
the funny thing is, and I've been contemplating on this for quite some time.
Hmm.
I think that the Boondocks would survive in this climate. I just don't think any studio would want to take the financial risk because at the end of the day, animation gets
Hmm.
costly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And and I don't think any channel would actually want to just take the risk, especially with the subject matter.
Yeah,
Because
and
I don't. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. I look at the Boondocks the way I look at Dave Chappelle. He's been talking about a lot of the same stuff, but now the punches are hitting a lot harder, and they're showing the reflection of the world, and the world doesn't like the way it looks.
yeah, and I'm kind of like 50-50 that we didn't get the reboot because I feel like in our society, with if a studio did like I guess take it on, they would have like nerfed the show in the worst way. It wouldn't be the same Boondocks we know and love. It'd probably be like a watered down version of the show, in my opinion. I think it would because
Well, that's what we had with season 4, where Aaron Magruder wasn't writing, and that was horrible.
yeah, that's true. You're right. So it
I
would be worse now even with him gone is the different platform and writers. It would be a lot different because it might have been more like agenda based and more like
I don't
sugarcoating, like
know.
beating around the bush. I don't know. It's just
I don't
I
know
don't.
because Aaron Magruder had every intention of like working on this full force. So
Did he really?
yeah, that was
Yeah, I
here
thought
was the
one
thing.
season.
They hit a wall with John Witherspoon passing away and just a few other pre-production hits, but most of the season was written.
By him.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought it was gonna be. I thought he wasn't even on the crew. I didn't know it was by
no,
him. Okay.
no, he was coming back. He got the rights
Okay.
to the Boondocks back.
Okay. Because I thought he wasn't coming
Yeah,
back. So I thought, yeah, okay. If he was coming back, then excuse what I just said. Just cut it out. But I did not know he was gonna come back. Okay, that makes more
but
sense then.
let's move ahead a bit. Uh, now, are you a fan of any classical known pieces of art? Do you have a favorite artist?
I have a few. I have a old school artist. I like Leonardo. He is very known for his, I guess, anatomy drawings and work. So when I was in the undergrad, I took like a life drawing class. We studied the human body and how it moves, turns, and like the muscle placement on like the arm, the calves, and he was really like he was like probably the best at doing that. And so for me, looking at him and my mentor that helped me out, Donato Giancola. I like Jim Lee as a comic artist.
Mhm.
McFarlane, Todd McFarlane, guy that created Spawn. So I have a lot of different guys I look up to and like take inspiration from.
Mhm.
So I think I consider myself a little bit of like I take my favorite parts of each one and put into my work. So
Okay.
I won't be an exact copy of one. I want to be like a little bit of this guy and that guy and more of myself and then my version of what they put out there for the past centuries. And it's just it's hard to compete with guys like that, man, because they've been in the game for so long and me being like fresh into this industry, it's hard to compete
It's
because
not a competition.
job wise it is because like when you're applying for jobs for like different studios and stuff, they're looking for a
That
name
yeah.
first. They're looking for a name first, and then because if your name is not out there, they won't even look at your portfolio or your work. So like me being like fresh out of school, I don't have that
Yeah.
I guess in the experience of in a professional studio just yet. So I'm doing a bunch of like freelance work now. So with that going for me, it's a lot harder to get my name in like a professional big studio because I don't have the name yet. So that's why I'm putting so much effort into like social media to get my name out there more with different series, different crossover with the Boondocks, get my name out there because I can't help if these guys want 3 to 5 years of experience and I'm a year out of school. I'm just like I can't do it both. So it is what it is, but I've learned to like I guess counter it in a way. So and I've seen like different artists get known from either their YouTube channels or their social media. So it's possible. It's just a lot harder. So it's a grind for sure, man. It's a grind.
Mm. Okay, so what what's your end game?
My
What's your
end,
big goal?
my big goal in a perfect world, man, is to one day. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I'm working toward it. Have my own animation studio where I'm creating my own shows that I want to tell that I created as a kid, high school, college. So like my version, well, I wouldn't say my version. I'll say a universe of not just black heroes only, but just my, I guess my stories of what I've came up with. Because I got two good ideas of African, either mythology or African culture that I want to tell. Because Hollywood is not going to do it. They want to tell
Mm.
their stories because they love to whitewash black culture, but their movies, their shows, and I can't stand it, man. It rubs me the wrong way,
Oh,
and
rubs us too.
yeah. It's supposed to because it's just you make a movie of Egyptian gods, but you have one black person in the movie. I just it's cringe. It's so cringe. But I
Agreed.
want I want to tell those stories with the right characters portraying them. Not saying that we can't do that in Hollywood now, but they probably won't do it until they get more of us in the higher up positions to make it happen. Because as long as we are not in position to make those creative decisions, it's not going to happen no time soon. Is I hate to say it, but for us to have a black character that's well known and popular, we have to race swap white characters that have been around for decades. And I'm a firm believer that if an artist back then created a character to what he wanted to represent and be, I disagree with people decades later changing that race or gender to fit the agenda of society because it's to me, and people disagree with me a lot when I say that. I think it's a hand me down from the white man. I think it's a hand me down character. I think
Mm.
I think it's crumbs left over from white or whatever character that were well established before we even got the swap from black or whatever. And I think it's disrespectful to us because it's just like we can't get an original black character on the big screen without having it from a previous white character. So for me, I want to create original black characters who don't have that history of being one race and just having good stories, good, shows, good storytelling from a black creative mind without the pressure of pleasing a group of people to, for a cash grab, in my opinion. So that's one of the main reasons I want to have my own animation studio to like prevent that from being a continued cycle because we deserve our own universe as well.
Okay.
I can respect that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Mhm. I definitely could see both sides of the coin on that one.
Hmm.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your what is your what is your what is your favorite looking anime? Like, I'm not talking about the story or any of that. Just artistically speaking, what's your favorite? Just optics.
Opposites alone. Okay. So in my opinion, my favorite is the tie between Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan because the
Mm.
details in animation, people don't understand. Animation is a hard job to do. For every second of a show or animation is 24 drawings. So you have, say, like a 60-second animation is like 700 drawings close to it. And so for them to have that much detail in every frame that they do. And as sad as it is, those Japanese artists do not get paid enough for what they do. They be paid super low budget, and they work almost like 19, 20 hours a day. And so they get done with one project, and they have like three more waiting on them after that last project. And so it blows my mind that they can still do that to that level off little sleep and just stressing out and just, I don't know, man. I respect it because it's come a long way than when I came up. But I love the aesthetic of both shows. I love the contrast, the darkness of Demon Slayer to the detail of the line work, the special effects, the VFX. It just so much goes into a show creation. And just like people from the outside looking in don't really grasp the amount of work, because you have your writers, you have your 3D modelers, you have your VFX artists, you have your animators, you have your background designers, your voice actors. You're planning all this stuff years in advance, and it's so time consuming, but in the end, it's worth it. And I want that for myself, because I just want to see that grind for myself and to see that hard labor I did years prior finally paid off in the end when that last episode of my show just like hits the air. So
Okay.
those are my favorite too, aesthetically, visually, wise speaking. So
Shoot,
what about
that's
you?
Oh, me?
Yeah, what's your favorite shows visually speaking? If you had to choose, if you have a favorite.
Well, Demon Slayer is definitely a very beautiful show,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be wrong to not to mention episode 1,000 of One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
And
But that's just one episode. It's not the whole series as a
yeah,
as a
but
show.
but they put so much work into that episode.
Yeah, because it's a landmark for them. So it's a great landmark. So
Like
they had to go out.
every frame's a fucking painting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so it would be wrong to disregard it.
yeah. I
And
get that. I get that.
and another one just for especially its visuals.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to go with Studio Trigger and Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Fam,
Oh yeah,
anything Studio Trigger.
yeah.
Just, it's just like, oh, we seen that flex you did with Demon Slayer. Oh,
Yeah,
hold my beer. That's
yeah. They hard over there too. They good. They good. They dope. They dope. But
So
that's where I want to be at, man. That's where I see myself like finally making it. It's like having a show closer on that level as everything we just mentioned now. So that aspect for like black characters, I think will be groundbreaking, because like we don't see that a lot in our society as like animated shows of like really good shows about black characters, black heroes, black whatever. It's just basic, animation, basic, whatever. But I want that really hardcore, just like in your face detail, super like not realistic, but just more so like just in your face, more like, wow, I've never seen like art like this before. Let me check it out. Now we graduate into the show. Now you stuck. You're not going nowhere. So it's just I want that effect on generations after me to see themselves on like a major animation company just killing it. Going in.
all right, give us a moment. We'll be right back with a quick message.
All right.
we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. So, how old are you again?
I am 27.
New school or old school anime?
I'm an OG man. I'm gonna say old school man, because that it just old school, old school walked so that the new school could run. So I think it's a generation thing too as well, depending on how old you are, going like one or the other, depending on when you were born. But I think I love both, but old school has just a different place in my heart because I just grew up on it. I had decades with it. I have experience with it longer than these new school shows now. So I'm gonna go OG.
I can respect that.
Yeah. What about you?
I like the new school, but
New school. How are you?
I have I'm 29.
29. Okay.
I like the new school, but I enjoy old school. Like Ghost in the Shell will forever hold a place in my heart. But now,
Yeah.
because of Edge Runners, I'm always just gonna look at Ghost in the
Yeah.
Shell as like the prequel.
Yeah. And I
Ghost in the
think why
Shell,
I
the
like
prequel to Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think I like OG shows a lot more is because back then you knew they used little CGI in their shows. A lot of stuff was all handmade, drawn. So a lot of these studios now they have a strict deadlines on their projects. They have more CGI, but you can tell it doesn't really fit in some of the scenes or frames. So like back then, everything was hand drawn. The backgrounds, the characters, like it just you knew it all looked similar. But now it's moments in some show where it's like too CGI and it's like you try to combine both and it's just like wonky at times. But I don't know, it's just a preference for me. I love like the old school like
There's
aesthetic.
there's one show that I think actually executes it really well, and I'm Attack on Titan.
Yeah. And I think because their CGI is not like a 3D model, it's more like a CGI cartoon looking model of the characters and the backgrounds in the show because all the different crazy um, camera angles. I think that's like a really like great aesthetic for them. But like the just them flying through the air is just crazy. But they
As a
put off
matter of
super.
fact, the YouTube channel Corridor Crew covered how they pull off those effects. So shout out to Corridor Crew on
I love
YouTube.
them. I
Check them
love
out.
them.
Because they definitely covered that. My
Yeah,
brain
I
had
love.
to.
Yeah, I love choreography. I love their series of like turning like these shows to like or movies to like rated R, like
Oh, that's
Avengers.
hilarious.
I'd be dying, man. Like I think it's the Chocolate Factory on one video. I was like crying, but I love choreography. They're so dope.
So, what's the worst cartoon you've ever seen? Something that is just visually bad for your eyes.
I have a bunch of those, man. I'm gonna say off the top of my head, Teen Titans Go
Ooh.
because me growing up on the OG Teen Titans show, I feel like it just I wouldn't say
and
disrespect the show. It just I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to like make
nah,
the new
it's
generation.
disrespectful. They turned Beast Boy into a fuck boy,
They did, but like they're
and
trying to make the new
Cyborg
generation.
into more of a dumbass than he already was.
And he's a
And
robot. He's supposed to be
Robin's
super
just
smart.
Robin's just straight cringe,
I don't know, man.
especially when it comes to Starfire.
I find it very super cringe and it's leave the old shows alone. You know, if you want to do an adaptation, make it completely different. Make it like on a different Teen Titans squad or something. Don't put the OGs in a childish show like that. Like you're trying to appease the new generation. I
I
get
don't
it.
think it's. That's a funny thing. I don't think it's that much of a childish show.
You don't think so?
The aesthetic of it looks very childish.
Man, the whole
But there's
show.
a No, there's a lot of fucked up adult humor in Teen Titans Go.
There's a
I
lot of
wouldn't
fucked
know.
up adult
I
humor in a
wouldn't know
lot
because
of
I
cartoons.
don't watch it. I wouldn't know, so I don't
Like
watch it. But
literally, Cyborg makes a whole joke about beating meat.
really,
Yeah, and it's just blatant out there. Like a kid might be like, "Ha ha, he's being stupid." Adult be like, "Wait, is this nigga just beating meat?"
but to
Again,
your point,
it's
to your
been like
point,
that in a lot of cartoons.
exactly. That's not a new thing. That's been going on since we were growing up as a kid. So
And
like
plus,
just laugh.
Teen Titans goes to the movies is DC's smartest movie.
Really,
It really is. It
I can't
for
get into
a
it, man.
movie, a DC movie that attacks DC movies, and then
What?
Come on now,
then
like it needs
not
any
only
more
that,
help.
but it attacks comic book movies in general, but definitely attacks DC movies. The fact that the first trailer of it was them calling Deathstroke Deadpool, I was like, gotta see this.
Man, and don't get me started on the live action show. I seen that first trailer. I refuse to watch it because I just cannot put myself through that. I
First
cannot.
season, first season is absolute hot garbage. Second season's actually amazing, and the third season went over a lot better than I thought it would. But that
See,
first season, absolutely horrible.
see, that's my thing. If the first season is bad, I'm not gonna keep watching it. And to me, to get into a show, if I can get into the characters that portraying the comic book characters, I'm not so like out of
But
all the
that's the
characters,
funniest thing. You can watch it from
Robin was
season two
good.
and be perfectly fine.
Really?
Yeah, because like even they have to admit that the first season was so fucked up. So season two, you're just like, oh, all right. I guess we're gonna try and tie up what happened at the end of that season in one episode, and then we're just gonna move on and not talk about this ever again. Cool, cool.
I
But
guess, man. But
now
I'm not even
Doom
into it.
Patrol, Doom Patrol was a hit right out the park
Hmm. I heard that was a
because
good show. I haven't watched that one.
strongly advise it because it's like, yeah, this is a very weird group. This is this group.
Hmm.
Yes, this is as you're watching it, they're like, yeah, go ahead, look this up while you're watching the show. These are the characters. This is what they can do.
Okay. I might check it out now since you said that because I didn't watch that show either. But I've heard good things about it though.
Yeah,
As far as DC go, they've been down for a long time, man. So I feel like
they still down.
they are, and I think their animated stuff is a lot better than the movies by a long shot. So
Shit, that's putting it mildly.
and I just they're putting too much weight on Batman's shoulders. Like, how many times can Batman carry the movie franchise for DC? Like, this is the eighth or the sixth Batman reboot of a different person. And it's just like, where's all the other DC characters movies at? Where's like,
Well, there was supposed to be a Batgirl, and yeah, well,
yeah, you know how bad your movie has to be for the company to
I,
lose
I
that much money and then still decide to cancel it. That's
well,
crazy.
no, that wasn't a tell about the movie being bad. The new CEO said he just didn't want to he didn't want to put it out, so he just wanted to use it as a tax write off.
But I thought he said because it was still like a bad like written and visually movie. I thought that's part of it. I thought too.
Nah. He just want he did they can't afford Warner Brothers has lost so much money over the last year that they can't afford to put out X so many movies. Like right now, they had to push back the release of Shazam because no, not Shazam. Yeah, Shazam because they could only afford to put out Black Adam right now.
Really,
Yeah. So
and
a lot is riding on Black Adam, which just by the way that Rock has been talking, he doesn't know the fucking assignment. He doesn't want
and
to
I
be a villain. I'm like, dude, you're kind of a villain, so you might want to just
yeah. And he's trying to make him be an anti-hero so bad, and it's like, man, look, you're not even portraying an Egyptian character with an Egyptian accent. You have a modern American accent. And
Hmm.
to me, he sounds like The Rock cosplaying Black Adam. He don't sound like Black Adam. He sounds like himself playing or cosplaying a character. Like, bro, he has an Egyptian accent. Now, if the guy he played had a Samoan accent, you best believe he's gonna put that Samoan accent to that character because there's no
I
way.
mean, he could still
Like,
pull. He could still pull the accent out. He just doesn't do
he's not. He's not. That's what I'm saying. He's not
it.
doing it. From the trailers, from what he said in interviews, he's talking as himself, just in a costume, and it's just like it's not. To me, it's not believable because if I'm going to see a movie who traditionally the guy had an accent, and I hear The Rock's voice from him at WWE, it's just like I don't know, man. It just I'm not sold on it. I'm not invested into the character. I'm more hyped about Dr. Fate than like Adam to me. I'm more hyped about Dr. Fate. He looks super dope, super cool. The mask looks like great, but as
Well,
far as
don't get hyped. It's not like he gonna get a movie.
I'm not saying I want to see him see how they treat him, but as far as Black Adam, I'm not really invested in him as a character, because like try to make him as like their Iron Man for the DCEU, which I don't see how they
Uh
could.
no, they ain't trying to do that. Good luck with that.
They are because like they're trying to put The Rock as the face of the DCEU.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
I think so too because he's not he's a villain. He's not. I don't know.
The
It's
Rock, The Rock got booed at San Diego Comic Con because he could not confirm who was Superman. No, this is facts. If you
for
can find
real.
the video, it's out there because they did a Q&A for Black Adam, and it was like, who can beat between you and Superman? He's like, well, I guess it all depends on who they hire as Superman. A wave of boos.
I didn't know that. I gotta look that up. I gotta look that up, man. That's insane.
Cause Henry Cavill, he's one of us. So,
Yo, he's the best
but
Superman that we've gotten so far too. Man, I love Henry Cavill.
I'm look. It's rough out there when you're The Rock because they expect you everything you do to work, and it doesn't.
Man, look, I just feel like DC's animated stuff is probably the lifesaver for them because their moves are not
It's
that
not.
great.
It's not like right now. I'm caught up trying to figure out if I should be happy that they brung Keanu Reeves back as Constantine.
I
Because
don't know.
I like Constantine is a good movie. It
Yeah,
actually is a good movie. But Matt Ryan's version of Constantine that was on TV and DC Legends of Tomorrow
it
and
was
in the
yeah,
animated universe, I'm like, yo, he's a great Constantine.
yeah. And they still having trouble with this Ezra Miller being the Flash because he be getting to like all these different
That's because
stuff. With,
Ezra Miller is fucking Professor Zoom.
I
He's a
know, man.
villain.
He's a villain at heart, but Suicide Squad last year wasn't bad. It was a good film, but it wasn't like it didn't blow
Oh,
me
I
away.
need him to go to jail, serve that time. Later on, we come back. He gets a movie, and he's starring as the Reverse Flash. That's my type.
Ooh,
I look,
ooh,
I put it to you like this.
hey, that could be
I
dope.
would I would put out $100 million Batgirl movie right now before I put out the $200 million Flash movie.
For real?
I Because here's why. Right now, his name is absolute dog shit.
I mean, I wouldn't use him as the Flash. I probably would hire somebody else and replace him like they
But
did with
but with the amount of time he's in that movie, you're spending another $140 million just to reshoot everything.
That's true.
They're already in the hole $200 million. At least in Batgirl, hey, Michael Keaton's Batman in that one as well.
That's true. Yeah, you got a point. I
Yeah.
agree because like he's just problematic, man. He just doesn't get it. Like I don't know.
No, he's not problematic. He's a criminal.
I mean, that's
He's a
yeah,
criminal. Like,
yeah. He's a
but
fella, yeah.
A
I don't know,
menace.
man. They down bad everywhere in DC. They're down bad everywhere, man. It's sad, but and so is Marvel. Like their Phase Four, to me, has been garbage too because their
All right,
shows
I'm
have
gonna
been
need you to
getting
get
less
out.
views, huh?
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
need you to
just
get out. I'm gonna need you to exit stage left, my guy. I'm okay with the DC slander, but now you gotta watch
Well,
your
yeah,
tongue.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. I mean, sure, there might be a few bumps and bruises on the road, but these shows have actually been really solid. I just don't think
not for the
the
viewers, but
audience knows what they're looking at.
the audience knows because they're the lone fans of
No, no,
the universe,
no. I'm gonna tell you
and
right
then they
now.
I'm gonna have to disagree because so far a lot of guys, specifically guys, never read She-Hulk.
I'm not talking about just She-Hulk. I'm talking about Moon Knight was a flop to me because they nerfed his character completely bad, and Ms. Marvel didn't do great numbers, and neither did She-Hulk.
Miss
But I
Marvel,
didn't.
I think Miss Marvel. I mean, for what she is, that's pretty on target.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's not meant for
It's
like for me. It's
it's
meant for
one of
just an
those things
audience.
where
Yeah,
people, I think everyone's expectations have gotten so high for every Marvel project that they can't even tell a simple story anymore.
because that Thor movie wasn't as great as Ragnarok either. But I think the problem with
That's because
my problem with
go
Marvel
ahead.
is that they're more focused now on quantity over quality work because they're pushing out too much stuff at one time. The writers don't have time to make really good scripts for the show or the movies. So like in Thor, the the Gore villain is like I don't know. I like Christian Bale as an actor, but for Gore, he didn't feel like Gore to me. He felt like a different character, and then it seemed really goofy and comedic. And I get you trying to add more comedy to like a dark
Well,
universe,
no,
cool. It just seemed too.
the biggest
Go ahead.
problem with that movie is Taika Waititi tried to do the same thing twice.
What you mean?
He tried to do everything he did in Thor Ragnarok twice.
Far as
He
what?
like a lot of just a lot of the story. Hell, let's look at the fact that there's a scene that plays out exactly the same way in both movies. Only in one of them there's actually a little bit of depth to it. There's a in Asgard and Thor Love and Thunder, they're watching stage actors put on a play, right?
Yeah.
They're putting on a play that's being watched by Odin, who's secretly Loki. And
Yeah.
the play itself is literally a portrayal of what happened in Thor's second movie, but from Loki's point of view.
I didn't catch
Now,
it. Yeah.
now, it now in Love and Thunder, they try to do the same thing, but it's a really cheap stage play as a tourist attraction for because now New Asgard is a tourist site. There's no
Yeah. It's just
like
it's to
they're
be made
trying to
fun of.
do the same they're trying to do
Yeah.
the same thing twice, but there's no genuine payout for it.
Yeah. And to me, I don't get this God of Thunder, Thor. Like he don't seem like a god. He seems like a regular human with powers to me. I don't get this like this Greek mythology like being. It just seems so like goofy now, and I get it. You're trying to add a different theme to it, which is cool. But Thor, it just he seems very different than what we have in the past. I don't know. I
He
couldn't
was
get to it.
his
Not
method with the
not
first
only
one
not
was
only that,
goofy.
but they tried to do and redo Endgame again for Love and Thunder. Like, yeah, Thor thought he was cool. Then he killed Thanos. Then he got depressed. Then in Endgame, he got over his depression when he went back in time and saw his mom.
Hmm.
But then at the beginning of Love and Thunder, he's like still depressed, but still kind of but still fat.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden he just gets jacked again, but he's starting to act like the same old Thor who's kind of dumb and not and without knowledge. I'm like, dude, you should be smarter than this by now. Like
Yeah, it didn't.
your character development has hit a wall.
I don't know, man. It's just I love Marvel, but I'm just not investing in Phase Four. And if they screw up Black Panther and Blade, I might be done because Moon Knight is
Well,
one of my favorite characters, and they didn't do him justice awesome, in my opinion. We got little of him in that show, but I'm banking on BP2 and Blade. If they don't hit, they might
they not
be.
even filming Blade yet.
I know, cause like quit or something, didn't he? Or something.
No, he's upset. There's something going on.
I thought the
But
director left the film.
oh no, I was talking about Marasha Ali. But
Oh,
that is a conversation for another day.
sounds good.
Trey Braswell, it's been absolutely fascinating to have you on. I'll love to have you
Appreciate it.
back somewhere in the future.
Yes,
Please
sir.
tell these fine folks out there where they can find you.
So you can find me on any of social media platform, Instagram at Trey_art, Facebook at Trey's art, and yeah, I'm uh I'm on TikTok as well, Trey_art, and I create art weekly. So check me out if you have time. Appreciate it.
All right, and that's where you can check him out. First and foremost, we want to thank everyone for listening in today. Uh, Everyone who's out here on the out here listening to the podcast, we appreciate being part of your day. And for you folks out at YouTube, yes, YouTube, I'm talking to you. I hope you're enjoyed your time with us today. We hope you're subscribed. We hope you hit that like button, and we
Yes,
definitely
sir.
hope you hit that bell so you're always coming back to us. We appreciate you guys very much. Shout out to a lot of the people in Florida. We understand that the hurricane is being very juggernaut like at this moment.
Oh
Hang in
man.
there. Our Puerto Ricans, we look out for you. Our hearts go out to you. We're gonna try and
Yep.
set something up, see if we can get some funds your way. Meanwhile, Demon Engine, it's always a pleasure, sir.
Yep, yep.
Yes, sir.
Everybody, stay safe out there. Still stay 6 feet apart.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Be
I
good
appreciate it.
and whatnot, and sit there and like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm gonna send Rico to shit in your left shoe.
This is Corey Salty True Floyd for Amerime Media. That's Demon Engine. This is Trey Braswell. We wish you guys well. Take care.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Hi, everybody. This is Corey Salty True Floyd for Amerime Media, and I hope you enjoyed this podcast video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to check out our other videos right over here. You have a good one. See you around.